It's here with my Power Series Beginner Bass Lessons, and this is lesson number 1B. In this lesson we're going to look through the various parts of the guitar, various components that make up this wonderful instrument called the bass guitar. If you're pretty confident that you know all the various parts, you can skip this lesson. Go to 1 or go to 2A or 2B. But for those who are not really sure about all the various parts of the guitar, let's have a quick tour of the various parts. Right, now over here we have the body of the guitar, usually made out of timber, and it's usually some resonant sort of timber. We have the neck here with the various bits and pieces on there, and they usually bolted onto the body, as you can see over here. Now, the next part that is important is the bridge, which is where most of the strings are fed through, or in this particular case all the strings are fed through, and they go through, go over the fretboard, through the nut and onto the tuning pegs. On this particular guitar, this is a jazz bass, a Fender jazz bass, we have 2 pickups, a back pickup and a front pickup, and these get controlled by the volume pots down here. Now, various guitars have different setups. A lot of guitars these days have 2 pickups, but not all of them, and they have different controls on every bass. But this is a fairly typical setup on a Fender jazz bass. This pickup controls the volume on this pickup. This controls the pickup on the back pickup. Now, the back pickup normally has a very trebly tone, and the front pickup normally has a much more mellow tone. Now, normally when I play, I use both pickups up full, and it gets an all-round sort of sound. Get a nice trebly sort of balance with a nice bass balance. You've got to normally experiment with your particular bass to get the best sound out of it. But also in this particular case we have a treble pickup, or it's actually a treble gain or treble cut. I normally have this full up. If you pull it back a little bit, it really drops your gain. So normally I have it up full. If I'm putting some new strings on the guitar, then I normally sometimes pull it back just a freckle, but not very much. If you pull it right back, you lose all your gain and you lose all your highs. Of course, you've got your output to your amplifier, which is this one here. Now let's go through a few more things. You've got your pick guard here. Most guitars don't have a place to rest your thumb. I normally rest my thumb on this pickup here, but some of them have actually got a special thumb placement so that you can play over the various strings. Now, on this particular guitar, this is an L series jazz. We've got 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19. We've got 20 frets on this one. Some of the later series, they've got 22 or 24 frets, but in the earlier series guitars, this is about a 62 variety. They only had 20, as we just talked about. Now, normally in the octave, we've got 2 dots here, and you normally got dots on the 3rd fret, 5th and 7th fret and 9th fret to give you a bit of a guide of where you're going if you're not sure about what you're doing. The strings go over here and they reach the nut, and this is where the final resting place of the vibration of each string is. In addition, we have the tuning pegs, and on this particular guitar we've got a couple of guides that stop these strings from vibrating because of the angle that they go down. Not all guitars have got that. Some of the Charvels have got a neck that, a tuning part of the guitar that angles back, and you don't need to have these things, but you've got to be careful when you wind the strings onto your guitar that you've got enough angle between this part of the guitar and that part of the guitar so that the strings don't vibrate over the neck. Well, I think that's about it. I'll just make a mention of the type of strings that I've got. These are round wound strings. They're rough wound. You tend to get a much gongier sort of sound. If you've got flat wound strings, they tend to be a lot softer and they tend to be a lot less brilliant. It's up to you about the choice of strings that you like to use, but most players these days tend to use round wound strings, and it seems to get the best sound out of the guitar these days. Okay, this is Michelle Volts. Uru for now. Bye.